welcome to the very first video of Lily-Belle's Lens. Today I am at the Ulster Museum in Belfast to see the Dippy On Tour exhibition and also to chat with Dr. Mike Sims, who is the museum curator. Hello Mike, thank you for meeting with me today. Are you ready for my questions?
I am, I'm all ears.
Great, then let's begin. When you were 7, you decided you wanted to be a paleontologist. What prompted that decision at such an early age?
Well, when I was 6, I found some fossils in the back garden. I got very, very excited about fossils, so I spent all my spare time collecting more and more fossils. And then I was taken to the Natural History Museum when I was 7 by my father, and he showed me Dippy for the first time. And so that was 50 years ago. And ever after that, I wanted to work in a museum and study rocks and fossils.
Do you remember the very first fossil that you found, and do you still have it?
I do. It was in August 1967, which is more than 50 years ago now, and there were some little types of shellfish called brachiopods. And I do remember finding the very first one, and I still have them. And they're actually on display in the exhibition here.
Where is the best place you have travelled to for finds?
The best places were a few places in Gloucestershire, which is where I grew up, you see, and I got to know the area very well, and I went off on my bicycle looking for new fossil collecting places, and I found some really good ones. I found complete fossil fish. They weren't very big, about the size of a sardine, but that was very, very exciting. And the great thing about those places was that I was the only person that knew about them. So I had all the fossils to myself, which was great.
Is there anything that you dislike about your job?
I don't really like paperwork and filling in forms. I'm not really very good at filling in forms at all. Sometimes I look at a form and I just don't know, what do I write in this bit? No, paperwork.
What is the funniest or worst thing that you have found?
There was a place that I used to go collecting ammonites, those little curly fossils, when I was about 17 or 18, and there were lots and lots of them in the clay, and I just be constantly bending down, picking up these little ammonites. But it was next to a rubbish tip, and there were lots of seagulls there, you see, and so there was lots of seagull poo, and quite often seagull poo is a little spiral. So quite often I'd be bending over to pick up what I thought was an ammonite, and I'd stop myself just too late. I'd go, oop, it was a seagull poo. Yuck.
If I find a fossil, do I have to notify or give it to a museum?
No, you don't actually, but we're very pleased to sort of hear about anything that people have found, particularly if they think it's unusual or exciting. And we're quite happy to answer any questions that people have, but you don't have to give it to the museum at all. But some of the best fossils we have on display here were actually found by people like yourself. There's a little ichthyosaur skull, which is a fossil marine reptile, and that was part of that was found by a schoolgirl, a 7-year-old schoolgirl. Must be 25 years ago now. So yes, we like people to tell us what they found, but you can keep it if you want.
My Nana and Granda are old fossils. Should they be in a museum?
I think they should only be in the museum if they are bringing you here to look around, but I don't think they should be here all the time because they might find it a bit tiring standing up all day.
What is the most significant item you've personally found, and where is it today?
Back in 1976, when I was 15, I found a little fossil fish tooth. Now, I didn't know it was a particularly special fossil, but I took it to the Natural History Museum in London, and the fossil fish people there got very excited, and they said, this is the earliest known fossil chimeroid. Chimeroids are a strange-looking type of fish, and this was the very earliest one known, so they named it after me. They didn't call it Mike, they called it Eomanodon simsii.
Why are there so few fossils and dinosaur bones found on the island of Ireland?
Well, the thing about dinosaur fossils is that you need to be looking in rocks that are the right age for dinosaurs. So that's between 230 million years and 65 million years ago. And then you need to look in rocks that were deposited where dinosaurs lived and died, which is near lakes and rivers. But the problem is in Ireland, most of our rocks are either too hot, they came out of volcanoes, no fossils in those, or they're too old, they were deposited before there were any dinosaurs to become fossils, or they're too young, they've deposited after dinosaurs have become extinct. And then we have some rocks that are the right age, but not very much rock at all that's the right age for dinosaurs. And what little rock we do have that is the right age was deposited in the wrong place. It was either deposited out at sea, where dinosaurs don't live, or it's deposited in a desert, which is a very bad place to preserve dinosaur bones because they tend to crumble away. So that's why we have almost no dinosaur bones. But we have lots of other fossils in all these other rocks that are too old or too young, just not many dinosaurs.
If you could have a different job for just 1 year, what would it be and why?
I think I might like to be a meteorite hunter, because I think meteorites are very, very they're fascinating things. They're rocks from outer space, and they tell us an awful lot about the very earliest days of the solar system and how our planet grew. So it would be nice to go to somewhere where you could find meteorites, but most of the best places for finding meteorites are very hot and dry, like the deserts of Australia or Northwest Africa, or very cold, like Antarctica. So it'd be a nice job, but I'm not sure I could cope with the weather.
I am 9 and I want to be an archaeologist. Where do I begin and what advice would you give me?
Well, I would say do your best at school, because it's very important to sort of study various subjects at school, but also always remember that you can teach yourself an awful lot, particularly at your age. There's lots and lots of books you can read about archaeology and geology and paleontology and about the landscape and the things living on it. And so you can teach yourself an awful lot. Don't ever think that you have to be taught at school. An awful lot of what I learned and know now, I taught myself. And so the more you know about lots and lots of different subjects means that you're much better prepared for when you stumble across something really exciting. You can see, oh yes, I can see how this relates to these other things. So teach yourself, particularly when you're young and your brain is much better at soaking up information than my old brain will say. But I forget much of what Yes, when you're young, you can learn a lot.
That's great advice, thank you, and thank you for chatting with me today. I would like to invite you to visit our travel website and become part of our adventure.
Thank you very much. I look forward to that. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. See you all soon.